My crazy entitled mother secretly records my therapy session and is now threatening to use it against me in the court of law, all because I said things about her in therapy that she did not like, and now I don't know what to do. Here's what happened. So my mother never told me that there was now a camera or an audio recording device in the living room. I tried to find it, but it's not visible from what I found. I also had a therapist as an adult, to where my therapy sessions were private and on the phone due to COVID lockdown at the time. This particular session, I was touching on the topic of the way my mother treats me and makes me feel. Without me knowing, as she was at work and I was alone with my kid at home, she recorded the entire session. And this was all without my consent. She came home and then threatened to press charges on me for slandering her name. I told her she had no right to record my private sessions. She then tried to blame me and said, maybe next time you won't do it in front of a camera. And I asked her, what camera is she talking about? And she didn't point to anything. She just said, I put a new camera in the living room. I replied to her and said, my therapy sessions are private, and if you take me to court for what I said, you wouldn't be favored, as you aren't supposed to record somebody and use their private therapy sessions against them. I have a right to my own thoughts and opinions, and if you knew anything about therapy or how I have it set up with my therapist, she wouldn't say anything to anyone unless it threatened mine or my daughter's well-being. She then goes off on this tangent, stating that she's never done anything wrong to me, and when she said that, I wanted to snap. I wanted to yell at her about the years of mental, emotional, and physical abuse, as well as the neglect I've endured because of her. I had to grow up at 5 to care for my little brother because she simply wouldn't do it. I'm not sure if I'm in the wrong, but my therapist says that what I feel is going on is how I see it, and it is valid. She should not have recorded my therapy session. It's illegal in the state of Texas to record a conversation that you are not involved in, and she basically broke a law and threatened to use what I said against me. I don't know if my reaction was right, but she refuses to delete the recordings to this day. I'm worried that she may try to take me to court, and while there was nothing incriminating, she says that she might be able to use it as a slander case against me, even though what I said is all 100% true. My therapist could even contest to it, as she has some recordings of what I deal with on a daily basis. Am I in the wrong for telling my therapist how my mother treats me? Because my mother even said, you don't talk about me to anyone, not even your friends. She has even been witnessed on call actively treating me like garbage, and then blames me by saying, you need to stop telling people I'm a bad person, and this is especially prevalent when other people witness it over call as it happens. This is all honestly so distressing, and I simply don't know what to do. The way your mom is acting is absolutely out of line. Therapy is supposed to be a private experience where you can be open and honest about your inner feelings. It's one of the few places where you can be completely honest and there really won't be any kind of judgment. Like, you really can't just say whatever you want to say. So with that in mind, what you say in therapy, even when it's as brutally honest as possible, it absolutely needs to be confidential. Otherwise, situations like this could arise. It's honestly horrifying that your mom would seriously record your therapy session and then threaten to try and use it against you. I mean, what kind of psychopath seriously acts like that? And you said it best. Where you come from, it's illegal to privately record someone against their consent, especially when you are not involved to the conversation at hand. You're just some weird bystander trying to get the dirt on what your daughter's saying about you, and that's just crazy to me. So honestly, it might be time for you to lawyer up. I think talking to an attorney and discussing this with someone who knows the ins and outs of the law would really be your best bet. You can make assumptions of what you can and can't do, as well as every hypothetical that you could possibly think of. But at the end of the day, an actual lawyer probably would be your best bet. So hopefully all of this goes well, because I would be so traumatized if that happened to me. I can't imagine what it feels like to be discussing openly the things that your mother did, only for her to be like, oh yeah, I recorded everything you said, and I'm gonna try and use it against you. I mean, if that's not proof that she's clearly guilty of all the things that you said, I don't know what else is. She very clearly wants to try and control the narrative, and just know, I really think that if she does try to go public with the things that you said, this will only make her look like a terrible mother and probably confirm everything you've ever said in your therapy session. Because this lady sounds like a nightmare, and you have a right to privacy to discuss these issues. If you like Am I the Jerk, you're probably going to love Am I the Genius. Check it out, link down below in the description. My girlfriend has invited me out with her friends for New Year's Eve, but I really want to try and have something more private and intimate with my girlfriend, since this is going to be our first one together as a couple, and I honestly don't know what to do. So me and my girlfriend have been together for a year now. A few months ago, I mentioned that for New Year's Eve, we should do something together, as it will be our first. This was a while back, so she may have forgotten, and it was in a passing conversation. Last month, while we were having a meal, she mentioned that her friend was planning a group New Year's Eve party and then going to an event, and that she's going and I should come along too. When she said this, I won't lie, I was taken aback. The way she said it made me feel like she's already decided and I should just come along with her. I was expecting us to do something together, and I was a little surprised, to be honest. I think I said something like, I'll see if I can go, and it was discussed no more. A few days ago, my girlfriend brought it up again in person for us to spend it with her friends, and I may have implied I was up for it. Some other things were going on at the time, so I didn't really give it much thought. She went out with the exact same group of friends on this day that I will be seeing on New Year's Eve. My girlfriend had messaged me saying that her friend had bought her a ticket and sent me the link to get one for myself. I'm not too sure that I'd fully enjoy the event, but it will be a brand new experience. This is because the event will be playing cultural music, and while I am from that culture too, I never listen to any of it, so I don't really know any of the words or the language or anything like that. All of her friends do know the words, and I'm worried I won't be able to fit in. In past relationships, I've always looked forward to being invited out by my partner to meet her friends. I am an easygoing person to get along with, and I really do enjoy it. However, I've never had a girlfriend who has acted this way before. It was enough of a deviation that I noticed it on the first instance that we've been in a group setting. My girlfriend has restrictive parents, so she is used to lying to go out or just to do anything. My girlfriend also becomes a different person when she's in a group setting with her friends. It's almost like she's putting on a performance. I'm a relatively confident person, but it's almost like she forgets I'm there in situations like these. I've noticed this on more than one occasion. It's important to mention that when she went out with this group of friends last week, I believe that she lied to me, as she was meant to be going out with girlfriends. She invited me out, but I said no because it seemed like a girls' night out, but she instead met up with some more friends, including some guys at a hotel room. She said they were walking to the bar and her friend needed to go to the bathroom, and they just by chance bumped into these friends, who she's very close with. My girlfriend just texted me that night that her friend needed to go to the bathroom at the hotel, and that's it. She omitted the part that they all went up to the room to pre-drink at the party. I don't believe her story of just simply bumping into them at all. I clarified her movements, and they just don't tally up with what she is saying. I honestly believe that they plan to meet up, and my girlfriend lied to my face about it. On the night, I had such a strong gut feeling that I was being lied to that I simply could not sleep. In the day after, she did tell me that she went to the hotel room by coincidence, but did not tell me on the night. She also followed the 4 guys there on Instagram, which is fine, but she didn't even mention it. My girlfriend had spoken about some of her friends throughout our relationship, and I've met them once or twice, most of them female, but I've not gone out of my way to follow them back. It's also important to mention that me and my girlfriend have never had a proper night out, as in staying out till like 2 in the morning, and that is since the year that we've been together. She's always had to be home by 11 o'clock at night due to having a curfew, and she drives instead of using an Uber. Our first 6 months together were bliss. I genuinely thought I met the woman of my dreams. I thought I'd found my teammate. However, in the last few months, my girlfriend's behavior has made me think differently altogether. My girlfriend is a self-proclaimed people pleaser, and at this point, I'd never met any of her friends, so I thought nothing of it, but after seeing her with friends, it makes sense. Since these last few months, I get the feeling that my girlfriend is not my teammate anymore, even though she tells me she loves me. Small things have happened where she's not followed through with her word. Sometimes I get the sense that my girlfriend has developed the attitude that she's going to do whatever she wants, and I simply have to deal with it. I used to trust this girl fully not too long ago. I used to fully believe in her as well, but now I do doubt what she's telling me. I haven't confronted her about the suspected lying about this hotel party yet, because I have some exams after the new year, and I can't afford to stress or have some kind of conflict about this. I plan to truly bring it up to her after that. Even though I've informally sort of agreed to go to this New Year's Eve party and join her friends, can I still tell my girlfriend that it would be nice to spend New Year's Eve together as a couple, and especially because it's our first? I'm worried if I text her this, I'll get a standoffish response, similar to her just saying, well, I already made plans, you do you, or that she's already bought a ticket, which is a relatively small sum of money and it's not really that much. I still haven't confronted her of the suspected lying, and I won't lie, it's honestly slowly eating me away. What should I do? I think the New Year's Eve party is probably going to happen whether you go or not. It seems like she's already got her heart set on that, so I really don't know if there's much you can do in that regard. And you're right, I think it really is unfortunate that she basically decided this all for you. I think if anything, maybe next time you want to have some kind of one-on-one time with her, make the plans ahead of time and say, hey, I got these plans for us to spend New Year's Eve together as a couple at dinner or at a resort or something like that. Leaving it up to chance will only open this up for something like this to happen in the future. When it comes to her possibly lying, you better make sure you have your ducks in a row when it comes to that, because accusing your girlfriend of lying is only going to end badly in my opinion, especially if you don't have some kind of evidence associated with it. And unfortunately, a gut feeling is not evidence. So maybe in the future when plans are being made, speak up sooner about what you want and maybe give some kind of counter offer before it's too late, because I think in this situation, it most definitely is too late to have any kind of party or get together for just the two of you on New Year's Eve. My new partner is really boring to me. and I'm unsure if I really just don't like him or if this is some kind of problem with me overthinking. And at this point, I don't know what to do. So I've been dating this guy for about 3 months, and we met on a dating app. We started back and forth for the first month, and then we started meeting in person, as well as going on dates, and eventually starting to hook up exclusively. Sometimes it feels right, but most of the time these days, I just would rather avoid him, and I've even considered breaking things off altogether. My 3 main issues are that it feels like we have nothing to talk about. He's one of those people who calls all the time, but half the time, neither of us are saying anything, because the other half of it feels like banter about nonsensical things. It feels like his go-to jokes are super repetitive, and I find myself losing patience with it, as opposed to finding it funny like I did 6 weeks ago. Physically, I was initially attracted to him, but he just turns me off. It's partially what I feel like is a lack of effort on his part. I always make sure to look, smell, and feel wonderful, and he shows up in the same hoodie and jeans no matter what. He had the audacity to comment on what I was wearing once, like he ever switches it up ever. He usually comes over after work, so I try to not hold that against him, but he also wants intimacy every time, so I honestly feel like effort wouldn't hurt in this situation. I also get generally grossed out when he burps or spits or farts, and it's killing the attraction for me. The last one is really minor, and it could just be him joking around, but he'll joke about how I'm digging into his wallet because I want to eat out every time he comes over, and completely ignoring the fact that I pay for half of our dates and have taken us to more expensive places, so I have arguably spent more money, and he is already the one coming to my place, so I'm cleaning and getting ready at the same time. For some context, I can't go to his place because his mom is the nicest person apparently. Overall, it just feels like a lot of effort on my part, but he is a good person and we have fun when I'm not overthinking it. So it really begs the question, should I stay with him, or am I just trying to avoid some kind of relationship and I'm really just trying to pick apart minor things that could easily be fixed? What should I do? I gotta say, reading that first half of it, I really would be under the assumption that you don't like this guy. Like you really dug into him really hard, basically saying that he doesn't try, that he's super repetitive, and you're just kind of losing attraction to him. But at the same time, you end this by saying that he's a good person and that you do have fun around him when you're not overthinking it. So maybe that's what's going on here. Maybe you're just overthinking the situation, and it sounds like you're not communicating with him at all. Like it sounds like you have all these issues that you really do have with the way he looks and the way he's acting overall, but you haven't laid out any kind of game plan with him for him to try and change or to at least see where you're coming from. Like you never know. If you said, hey, could you wear something different when you come by? He very easily could be like, okay, I'll wear something different and go along with it, no problem. Or even if you explain to him, hey, I don't like it when you obviously burp and fart like that. It's kind of unattractive and I don't like it. Or something like that along those lines to maybe communicate to him and share your needs and your expectations in this relationship. Like that really could go a long way, because when it comes down to it and you're not overthinking things, you do have a good time. And that's something you can at least hold on to, especially when it's this early into a relationship. You are getting to know each other still. So if anything, I say keep giving it a try. See if these minor adjustments can be made, and who knows, this relationship could very well still work out. My entitled coworker is constantly harassing me at work, always trying to find ways to put me down and make me feel like an idiot, and I've honestly had enough and I don't know what to do. So to start off, I have some disabilities as the result of a car accident. Nothing you can really see except for a small scar on my face, and that's going to be very important for this story. So my front of house by the name of Ariel had personal issues going on and cussed me out over a misunderstanding. I had been there 5 days. I spoke with my friend and owner, and he assured me that this would not happen again, and she just had a really bad day. I said okay, and I can understand that. I came back, and every shift with her has been a literal nightmare. She has berated me non-stop on nearly every shift. Well, the straw that broke the camel's back is when I came in for a shift 1 hour after finding out that the man who raised me had passed away that morning. I came into work and let everyone know I wasn't at my best, but I would set it aside because I didn't want to call out, knowing they may not be able to find someone that quick to work a shift. From the moment I walked in, she treated me like the biggest piece of garbage. I mean, pure hatred is what I felt from her. I did everything, from walk the wrong direction down the hall, to being slow to her liking, to asking her if I could help her, which honestly just made her crazy. I asked her at one point towards closing if there was anything I can do for her, and she literally looks at me dead in the eye, smiles, and explicitly says, "Don't you think you've been here long enough to know what you're doing? Read the list." And when she said that, I almost lost my mind right then and there. I wasn't asking what needed to be done for clothes. Everyone else helps each other out on shift, and everyone else, including her, also knows that I have dyslexic aphasia, and that if they just tell me, we can get things done faster. Never mind that I have no clue what she has or hasn't done in the back. Well, at one point, she decides I don't need the food on a plate for my order, that I'm trying to get off the pass, so she takes it and tells everyone she can just wait. She says it like I'm not standing inches away, waiting on her to move so I can get it. The looks that followed were priceless. I somehow keep it together. At another point, I walk out from the back and look around to see what needs to be done, and she says, "There's plenty to do around here, don't just stand there." And I had just walked from the back. I finally speak to the owner again about this. I explained that I came in when I was grieving a devastating loss, and to be treated just like that was absolutely ridiculous. I didn't deserve it. And sure, I've messed things up since I've been there, even before having a lot on my mind, but this wasn't like that, and even if it was, I've been there a month. I'm not a career waitress yet. I just started. She blamed me for the kitchen losing my ticket and said I should have just known that. The people have been maybe waiting 15 minutes. It's a little long for what they order, but we were also slammed. I just can't with this psychotic woman. I've never seen anyone with so little empathy. I wasn't asking to have my hand held or anything like that, but she'd look for things to go crazy about. I told them that, and I didn't get scheduled with her this week for the first time, and I honestly hope it keeps up. I love everyone else, and without the stress of her, I actually make less mistakes. I don't feel so on edge. It's been a great work week so far. I've heard her speak to one other person this way before, but the way she talked to me felt overly personal, and I honestly don't know what to do if I ever do get scheduled with her again. That's really a toxic work environment if there ever has been one. She's singling you out because she wants to bully you and put you down, and it's really important that the owner of the restaurant steps up and makes sure that either this lady does not have you on the same shift as her or lets her go in some way, because you can bet that toxic attitude is going to go from you onto another coworker, and it's just going to perpetuate and it's never going to stop. And that's literally unfair for you, and it's unfair for the rest of your coworkers who have to put up with this garbage every day. And I think you're right. You've only been there like a month. How can anyone possibly expect you to have it all together? This is your first waitress job and you've never done this before. So hopefully this works out, and I really hope you don't have to deal with that lady again, because the way she's treating you is completely unfair, and you definitely don't deserve to get treated like that. My girlfriend is a complete hypocrite, criticizing me about everything that I do and then turning around and doing it herself. And at this point, I really don't know what to do. So my girlfriend is amazing. Our chemistry is amazing. We want things to work out, but I feel like I'm going crazy. We've been dating for 10 months and spend every day together. She's brought it to my attention that my body language is awful. The things she tells me are kind of outrageous. If I shake my leg, she accuses me of having dirty thoughts. And if there is someone in the room or on the TV, she will come to the worst conclusion possible, if you know what I mean. If I run my hands through my hair, she accuses me of trying to spread my pheromones. If I lunge to grab something in the supermarket, I'm accused of showing off my butt to the people around me. Yet if I bring up that she does the same thing, if not much worse, she flies off like a loose cannon, full of denial and accusations. Alas, I adjusted my body language to make her more comfortable, and she stays the same. She has accused me of watching girls dancing on TikTok, and I've proven her wrong with my watch history. I've had my feet held to the fire multiple times on this subject alone, so to help mitigate the problem, I just deleted the app. But then I found out months later that she has been watching dirty pictures online, if you know what I mean, which is really ironic considering all the accusations she made towards me. She has accused me of putting myself on display if I, quote, manspread even a little. Yet she will wear the shortest dresses, and her underwear is always showing when she sits down. But she'll say, I just want to look pretty, I can't control it. She has also accused me of being too close to people and flirting if I sit beside her friend at the dinner table without saying a word. Yet she will be basically breathing down my best friend's neck and basically make it seem like she's coming on to them all throughout the conversation. I've terminated my bubbly personality and distanced myself from people all around me, but she claims that I'm still just being too friendly, while she just wants to get to know my friends. I'm really worried I'm doing these things just to give her control and help her hide from her insecurities, as opposed to me just having some kind of bad body language, whatever that means. I would never have a problem with the things she's doing if I hadn't built resentment from the fights and the changes I've made despite everything. Is it that this change is good and she should take her own advice, or is it that I'm snuffing out my personality to save her from herself? What should I do? Your girlfriend is a narcissist. She is absolutely being a manipulative lunatic. I mean, how on earth are you even still with her? Literally everything, and I'm not even kidding, everything she said is absolutely insane. No, you shaking your leg does not mean you have dirty thoughts, and I promise you, you're not spreading your pheromones to people around you anytime you put your hands through your hair, and nobody wants to look at your butt in the supermarket, I promise you that. Your girlfriend literally sounds crazy, and she's doing this just to control you, and if you continue to follow along with this, your personality will become non-existent. Any kind of outgoing nature or anything that you like about yourself will literally be stuffed in a box, because she's going to claim you're doing anything and everything all the time. And it's also quite telling that she's telling you not to do these things, and then in some kind of of way, shape, or form, she turns around and does it herself. She's a complete hypocrite, and it blows my mind that you're putting up with that. And I think your worry is correct. By going along with this, you're giving her control, and you're helping hide her own insecurities. I'm sure your body language is just as neutral and normal as anybody else out in public. And based on the fact that this has been going on for 10 months, I really just don't see this ever getting any better. So if I was in your shoes, I would seriously be re-looking at this relationship, because I'm sorry, but she sounds absolutely crazy, and you do not need this kind of energy in your life. Thanks for watching. When you subscribe, make sure to hit the bell to turn on notifications so you never miss a video. To finish listening to all the stories, use the playlist at the top of the description. And if you like Am I the Jerk, you're probably going to love Am I the Genius. Check it out in the description below and subscribe.